the worst phrases you could possibly say in sports. Welcome back to Mindset Monday. I'm Gene Zanetti, your coast-to-coast mindset coach, coming to you live from Hawley, Pennsylvania. Got doing this off the cuff. We got no notes in front of me, coming at you live from a new angle. So this is where we're at. This is what we're doing. Okay, so the worst possible phrases you could say in sports. There's a top 10 list. I'm only going to give you a few of these, and then we could revisit this another time. But it's the same general idea. So here's some of the worst possible sayings that you could say in sports. This is it. Now or never. Do or die. Make it or break it. There is no tomorrow. That's 5 of the 10 worst phrases that you could possibly say. We'll go through the other 5 another time, but let's go through these today. This is it, now or never, do or die, make it or break it, there is no tomorrow. Now, if you're anything like me, when I would wake up the morning of a competition, my parents would say this to me, hey, this is it, right? Do or die today, right? Maybe you win a match and then, or you lose a match, and now you're in the wrestlebacks, now you're in the consolations, or you're in some kind of tournament. Now you have to win because it's double elimination. You already have one loss. So sometimes coaches will say, it's do or die. Now or never. Make it or break it. There is no tomorrow. Basically, what it comes down to is coaches, parents, and our teammates, they make it special. And if I say it once, I say it 53 times. Everything's important, but nothing is special. 9 times out of 10, if you make a competition special, you will lose. Or if you don't lose, you're going to underperform. You'll probably choke. And just because you win doesn't mean you didn't necessarily choke. If you underperformed, that's a choke. Okay? So that usually happens because we make a competition special. And I want you to get in the habit of making every competition important, but no competition special. So let's go through a few examples of this. If you listen in after the Olympics, Super Bowl, World Series, Stanley Cup, what are these athletes usually saying? They're not making it into a big deal, right? That's all Hollywood stuff we see in the movie Miracle, Any Given Sunday, and they're great movies. I love them. But you watch the movie, coach gives a great rah-rah pep talk, and then the team goes out there and wins the competition. So we start to tell ourselves, okay, before I go into a competition, I got to get myself hyped up. I got to make this competition into a really big deal. That's not what the top athletes are telling themselves. Like I said, listen to these championship performances. Listen to these championship competitions, the interviews. And usually they'll say something like this, the athletes. I was just being me, just doing what I always do. It was another day in the office. I was just having fun out there. Now listen to how different that sounds from this is it, now or never, do or die, make it or break it, there is no tomorrow. This is what the top athletes are telling themselves. I was just being me, doing what I always do. It's another day in the office. Being who I am. I was being myself out there. Okay, if that sounds familiar to you, well, it's because you're watching these top championship performances and you see they're not making it special. Now, does this mean they're not trying hard? Of course not. Doesn't mean they're not trying to win. Of course not. They're trying to win. They're going all out. They know the magnitude of the event. But the point is this. At a certain age, you know what you're trying to do. You understand that you're trying to win. You understand you're trying to get the first place trophy, right? You want the championship title. You don't need to remind yourself that right before a competition. Okay, and that's a big mistake athletes make. Right before they go out there and compete, they think about, I want to win, or they think, I don't want to lose. And it's because we're saying those big phrases. This is it, now or never, do or die, make it or break it, there is no tomorrow. So they get all this pressure, right? Because they make the competition special. It's true in any area of sports, school, or life. You make a test special, you're likely to choke. If you're asking someone out on a date and you make it special, oh wow, this person's way out of my league, they're so attractive, you're likely to choke. If you're going to a job interview and you're like, I need this job, I have to do well. This is it, now or never, and on. You're likely to choke. If you're giving a speech or a presentation, you're the best man, you're the maid of honor, and you're at a wedding, and you say, this is a really big deal, I have to do well, you're making it special. So listen, everything's important, but nothing special. So all your practices are important. All your competitions are important, whether you're going against the best competition or the worst competition. You have to treat, and I don't normally like to say have to or must, but I am in this situation, so you know we mean business right here. You have to, you must treat those small competitions the same way as you will treat a championship. So then when you get into the championship, you could tell yourself, just be yourself. Just do what you always do. Don't change anything. Apply it to school. Every time you have a test, you got to study. You got to be prepared. You got to get a good night's sleep. Even in those smaller tests. And again, I'm saying must, have to. And you know how serious I am about avoiding those words most of the time. But you have to, you must treat those small tests the same way you treat those end of the school year standardized tests that actually have implications where you're going to go to college, right? Or getting a certain job. But it starts with practice. You treat everything the same. Okay, so everything's important, nothing special. I like to think of the Bruce Springsteen example here. Known for his great energy, he broke his all-time state record for the longest concert, and they asked him in an interview, Bruce, how do you put in so much energy to every one of your concerts? How do you keep bringing it every single time? And he said, I tell myself two things. I tell myself two things. This is the most important concert of my life, and it's only rock and roll. So you see, he is making it into a big deal, but it's not special. It's only rock and roll. So he's ready to go, but he's not hyping himself up too much. He's not getting sucked into that fan mentality where, oh, I have to break a record. I have to do something extraordinary. It's another day in the office for him. Same thing on the surgeon who operated on Bill Clinton. They asked him, interview, how can you... See, you've got to watch interviews because you learn a lot from these interviews. You get inside the mind of champions. My dad was very big with this. After competitions, he would always say, when on TV, he would say, listen to the interview. I'd be talking after the baseball game, after the World Series, the All-Star game, and they'd be interviewing one of the players, and my dad would say, shh, listen. Shh, listen. I heard that over and over as a kid when there was an interview going on. Shh, listen. So, shh, listen yourself. Bill Clinton's surgeon was interviewed, and they said, how did you keep it together mentally knowing you were operating on the president? And he said, I was just treating him like any other patient. Like any other person who would come in to see me, I treated him the exact same way. And that's why he's the all-star surgeon that he picked to operate on him. Because he knew he was a high-level performer. And how do you become a high-level performer? But by treating it the same all the time. So be a high-level performer in practice. In small competitions with quotes. In big competitions also with quotes. There's no big or small competitions. They're only competitions. Don't ever say this is a big day, this is a small day, this is a big match, this is a small match. Now I get it. I understand that certain competitions have more implications than others. I get it. I understand in-season versus out-of-season competition is a little bit different. My point is this. You don't want to keep emphasizing it in your mind. If you're dealing with a second or third grader, beginner athlete, and you have to actually explain to them, hey, look, this is the end of the season competition. This is the championship. You got to be ready to go. Because the little kids, what do they know? They're not taking it serious. And I'm not saying putting a lot of pressure on your kids at a young age. But you do try to get them to understand that, hey, this is what practice is. This is a competition. This is a championship. So you make those points to a kid at a young age. You don't need to keep repeating those to an adult or even to a high school athlete that's working hard year-round training for the sport. Clearly, they're trying to win. If they're training year-round, they're a high-level performer, they're there to win. Okay, they don't need to keep reminding themselves that they want to win. The only times I recommend shifting your mindset to focusing on the outcome, like when do you think about wanting to win a title? When do you think about gold medals and championships? You think about them during times where you're tired, you're running sprints at the end of practice, you're dead tired, then you tell yourself, stay champ, and you do another lap, and you do another sprint, and then you're still beat, you're still dead tired, stay champ, do another run. Then same thing, you tell yourself, you're falling, you can't, you feel like you got it, you're going to quit, you tell yourself again, gold medal, number one, I hate to lose, I want to win, I love winning. It gets you to run another sprint, and another sprint, and another sprint. That's when you focus on the outcome. When you're lazy, right? When you're lazy, you don't feel like getting an extra workout in. It's summertime. You don't feel like getting an extra workout in. That's when you tell yourself, stay champ. Got to win the gold. I hate losing. That's when you bring yourself to it. When you're bored, right? There's certain days you're sitting around, you're bored, you're not doing too much. That's when you tell yourself, I want to win. I want to be a champion, right? When you're feeling tired, bored, lazy, peer pressured, times where people are tempting you to eat the junk food, to stay out late, to do things you shouldn't be doing. That's when you tell yourself, I hate to lose. It stinks to lose. I want to win. I want to be a champion. I want to be on the top of the podium. I'm not going to give into the peer pressure. I'm not going to go out late. I'm not going to eat the crap. I'm not going to get into trouble. I'm going to stay on the right path to being a champion. That's when you focus on the outcome. But before competition, do not focus on the outcome. How many coaches do I hear tell their athletes, right before they go out there to compete, they're telling them something about winning or losing or the margin of the score. Make sure you keep the match close, or we need bonus points from you, or we're expecting a lot from you out there. Again, the serious athletes, they know. They want to do well. They're already putting pressure on themselves. So make sure if you're a coach or you're a parent, you're not putting additional pressure on your athletes by making it special. So start telling them this. Everything's important, nothing special. The day of a championship, you want to tell them, just be you, do what you always do. It's another day in the office. Have fun out there. They understand they're trying to win. When you're dealing with older kids, they're higher level athletes, they get it. They're already trying to win. They don't need someone else telling them, reminding them of winning and of the significance. Mindset makes the difference.